One Piece 1155 just broke the series. Rock's Xebec storms into Mary Geoise, kidnaps 5 kings, challenges Imu face to face. And what if I told you this madman is secretly connected to Buggy the Clown? You're not ready for this, because this secret is teased by Oda in this chapter. Welcome to Super Synth D Studio, where the final saga of One Piece hits different. If you're ready for real spoilers, raw theories, and hype that slaps harder than Conqueror's Haki, you're in the right place. Chapter 1, 155 is titled Rock's Pirates. Color spread in the cover, straw hat. Crew is walking on a wood ladder to cross from one building to another in a city. Chapter starts where last one ended. Loki said Rock's there in Elbaf, but he said his dad was out on an expedition. Loki was very surprised because that was the first time he saw tiny people. Rox asked Loki his name. Then Rox demanded Loki to go home to call his father because he should treat Loki's wounds. Loki refused and attacked him, but Rox used his sword to counterattack. Loki says, "What makes you think my dad is going to come back for something like my injuries? And how dare you order me around? You look like a weakling." Narrator: Rox's sword attacks are known for sending the surrounding objects flying as if it was the impact of a giant hammer or a cannon blast. Rox says, "Vohahaha, oh no, look! Loki is gravely injured." A flashback about the Reverie that took place 8 years ago starts. Soldiers at the Pangaea castle reported that 5 kings had been attacked and kidnapped by a large man dressed in black. Then we see Imu in the Room of Flowers. Imu says, "The lives of mere kings cannot be used as bargaining chips against Mu." Rox says, "I thought as much, but the Holy Land is a mess now." We suddenly see that Rox was sitting on the ground near Imu. He had a pistol on his hand. We also see a woman servant kneel down next to Imu that looks like Gunko. Yeah, she wore something similar to a nun habit with a mask in her mouth. Imu stared at Rox while a very furious Rox threatened Imu. Narrator: unlike anything before, and for the first time, someone had managed to get into the deepest part of the Holy Land, into the Room of Flowers. The man revealed himself as an admirer of Davy Jones. And that was all he did. He knew what he can't do, but he did leave behind a few words. Rox says, "One day I will come back." Back here! Rox found Harald in Mary Geoise City when both tried to escape. In an epic double page, we see they attacked each other. The clash of their conquerors Haki was similar to Roger versus Whitebeard or Luffy versus Kaido. Their swords didn't touch each other. Narrator explains the clashing of those two strangers wiped out all who were within a 5-kilometer distance. They both introduced themselves to each other while they were fighting. After the short clash, both escaped together. Harald asked Rox which way was Elbaf, because he was lost lol. Rox told Harald that if both survived, they should meet again. But Harald told Rox he would never get involved with a villain again. Then Harald jumped off the red line and Rox was shocked to see how crazy Harald was lol. The narrator explains that despite the emergency treatment, the admiral that Rox attacked in Mary Geoise finally died. So world government put a high price on his head. We see Rox wanted poster, but we can't see his bounty. Interestingly, the photo of Rox on his wanted poster shares the exact same style as Buggy's wanted poster. You can clearly see the same intense eyes, the tongue sticking out, and even the exact same hand gesture between Rox's and Buggy's posters. There's no way Oda did this by accident. This has to be a deliberate clue, hinting that Buggy might actually be the son of Rox Xebec. After all, Buggy shares the exact same dream as Xebec and Blackbeard. They all want to become the king of the world. Rox Xebec has two-tone hair, one part dark, the other bright. We still haven't seen an official color version of his character, but if his hair turns out to be blue and black, then that would be a crazy plot twist, because it would confirm that Buggy really is the son of Rox Xebec. Sometime later, Rox attacked a ship that was carrying the heavenly tribute towards Mary Geoise, and he even destroyed a gate of justice to escape. With the money and ship at hand, Rox kicked off his pirate career. During the following years, pirate ships were Rock's new targets. He played some Davy backfight games to get new crewmates. However, Rox did not officially form his pirate crew yet, so they were just a gang of villains following Rox. There's a small panel showing Rox in a boxing match, just like the Davy back. Fight between Luffy and Foxy. Back to the present of the flashback, 48 years ago. In another amazing double page, we see that Rox and his 6 crewmates were eating in Orist Castle with Harald and Loki. Loki was lying in a bed with bandages on his body. Harald quickly returned from the expedition when he heard Loki was injured. Although Loki was almost well healed already, Harald asked him, "Don't go again to the underworld." Loki was very happy to see his father came back for him. Rox wanted Harald to join him because he knew world government ignored all Harald's request. But Harald refused, saying he would lose all trust he had earned from other nations. Then Harald asked Rox's crewmates why they're following that man. Shiki says, "Follow? Who? This idiot? Jihaha, don't make me laugh. We are on our own. Even if Rox drops dead, it won't make a difference." Shiki the Yakuza, later known as the Golden Lion. Stussy says, "Exactly, but there is something about his plan. Smells like a brilliant opportunity to get rich hearts." Ms. Bucking the science robber, Buckingham Stussy. Marlin says, "Have you heard of Hachinosu, the island of exile, also known as Pirate Island? It's the island where countries used to relocate ruthless criminals that their own prisons can't handle." Don Marlin, the gangster from West Blue. Newgate says, "It was supposed to be an uninhabited island without food, where you just wait for your certain death." Edward Newgate, the pirate, later known as Whitebeard. Wangja says, "But in recent years, those criminals are surviving and forming their own organizations. What do you think is the reason?" Wang Zhi, Ochoku, the pirate guru, future admiral of Pirate Island. Ganzui says, "There were gold veins under that island. Some underground organization caught wind of that and lent the criminals a helping hand in becoming filthy rich." Ganzui the smuggler. Ganzui was the huge guy wearing a full armor that we saw in God Valley, and one of Moria's zombies in Thriller Bark. Don Marlin is a gangster inspired in characters like Vito Corleone, maybe Beji Father. Mint Wangji Ochoku is a guy that looks like Caribou and Korobu. Maybe he's their father? Rox asked again Harald to join him. Loki got out of bed and eavesdropped on Rox and Harald conversation. Loki cried with emotion when he heard Rox's words. Rox says, "Come with me, Harald. Me and you together, we will be unstoppable." Harald replies, "Stop that. I am the king of a nation." Rox says, "That doesn't matter. Let's take the world." Loki, the world. Narrator, later, Loki realized he has been saved. In the last page of the chapter, we see several ships approaching Hachinosu, as narrator talks about what happened 4 years later. 44 years before present time. Narrator, 4 years has passed since then, with Harald turning down Rox's invitation every single time he offered it. And finally, Rox's plan with a elite group of people who agree with him is about to be executed. Rox shouts, "Let's go, boys!" Chapter ends with Rox Pirate's flag waving for the first time. End of chapter. Break next week, so let's recap. Rox D. Xebec declared war on Imu, right inside the Room of Flowers. He dueled Harald with advanced Conqueror's Haki, so intense it blacked out 5 kilometers. He raided Mary Geoise, killed an admiral, looted tribute ships, and destroyed the Gate of Justice. And all of that was just his origin story. Now the Rox pirates are finally assembled. Whitebeard, Shiki, Stussy, Wangzhi, Ganzui, and Marlin, each one a future legend. And their goal? Take the world. With the rise of Rox, the truth behind Imu, and the brewing chaos in Elbaf. This chapter proves again why the Final Saga is on a completely different level. If this chapter blew your mind like it did ours, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more One Piece deep dives and spoiler breakdowns. Turn on notifications so you don't miss our coverage of One Piece Chapter 1156, because things are only getting crazier from here. And let us know in the comments, Was Rox D. Xebec the true pirate king all along, or just the world's most dangerous man?